on Thursday. Evan Neal's a guy who came to the podium and looked the part. Said he's coming into this 6'7", 337. And then you got a guy like Ike Ekwonu, different situation. Might not be the prototypical tackle-type build, Brady. Looking at those two guys in respect to one another, is there a beneficial side of that conversation one way or the other?
There's what's called an Adonis effect. And that's when Evan Neal walks up at 6'7", 337. You go, that's what 337 pounds looks like? Because it just looks like he's a massive human being. He's the guy who's going to win the combine for the offensive lineman. You know he's going to test well. He's going to jump well. Everyone's seen where he jumps up and does the splits or whatever the heck that was. That hurt just watching it, but he's going to be.
Do that?
No, I don't want to ever be able to do that. Much like Tristan Wirfs, that's who he kind of reminds me of. Now Wirfs a little bit different build, but he's got a lot of experience. I think you look at his versatility and how he can play both sides. He's a guy in my mind that I think is going to end up kind of winning this underwear Olympics, as I like to call it. It's kind of what it is.
Yeah, flip side of that conversation, Icky's a guy who maybe doesn't have that same measurable, but people love the toughness. They love the nasty in his game, playing right through the echo of the whistle, Cena.
Yeah.
What are you hearing regarding, the way he's being received maybe as a first overall pick in this draft?
Well, and you're right, and people do talk about the toughness and being equal up and down. I know that when I'm watching the drills, and like I said, I don't necessarily watch a lot of college football, but however, when I'm watching the drills, I'm looking to see how a guy's bending at the hips, how even he is up and down, how pliable he is at the knees, because even though someone might have the Adonis effect and have that stature too, I want to see that they still have at that size.
What they can do with that.
Oh, yes, and of course he's got the production, and he's projected, as I would say, to go number one overall, but you still have to bring that pliability to that, because these defenders now, the way that they have evolved, you want to be able to match that athleticism even though you're an offensive lineman.
Jamie, I know they can't offer much fantasy depth for us, but they are going to help some players on those boards that you're talking about.
I might disagree, because he talked about, when he gets to the NFL level, he knows that guys can actually line up and catch some passes.
Yeah.
He talked about that. He did welcome the opportunity to be the number one overall pick, though. That's something that I think he's looking at, and the confidence.
Not a lot of guys are turning that down, right?
Well, I think, though, that position, you don't see obviously a lot of players go number one overall, and so he's welcoming the idea of, I think, going to a situation like Jacksonville, going to a situation where he can step in and probably help a young quarterback improve right away with a new head coach. But he also talked about a comparison that he likes to, sort of look at as a comp in the NFL, and he said Trent Williams. And so if he can be that type of guy, obviously arguably the best left tackle in the game right now, that's certainly something that could be a difference maker for whatever franchise. Jaguars trying to move out of that number one spot. So if you're looking at trying to reset your offensive line, add a key player, he's welcoming that opportunity. He may not be the best, Neal may be the best, but those two guys are going to set the tone at that position. And again, he's welcoming the opportunity to be the number one overall pick.
And if it is Neal, he would be just the second Alabama player drafted first overall in the NFL draft. As crazy as that is to hear, it was Harry Gilmer in 1948 is the only other first. Joe Namath was AFL draft
Pete knew
first
that,
overall.
Pete actually was in his 20s covering that draft.
That was it. Pete.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.